Welcome back, Math 10-3. Today's lesson involved not something new. It's about, I personally believe, one of the most important skills that you need to develop. Comparing types of income. Now, we learned so far in terms of calculation and all several style of income. We learn about basic salary, and that can be like part-time, how much amount per hour, hourly salary, or it can be how much money bi-weekly, so that's per 2 weeks, or that's per 1/2 half month, whatever the one you want to say, and monthly salary or yearly salary. Those are one of the type. And we also learn about some commission. Commission is how much you get plus whatever amount. Of course, some percentage involved. Or number 3, we'll learn about also piecework. That's basically how many amount per, I'm gonna put products, but it can be services, product, or per service. So we basically have, and in reality, there are more different type, like overtime can also play in addition to commission. Overtime can also play a huge role in addition to salary, piecework. There are so many different parts. Now, your job after this chapters 1.7 is find out which one benefits to you the best, which one suit most suitable for you. And if you think about future, of course, money is money. You may want to find a job or income system that fits you the best. Unfortunately, when it comes to realistic situation, right now we are in quarantine. I'm recording this video to teach you in the form of online format, basically. However, you need to understand that in reality, at this time, not a lot of people earn as a way that we used to earn a few months ago. Some are already undergoing some kind of percentage deduction from salary, maybe don't get a lot of percentage of commission, or have less hours of work, which will affect these 3. So you may notice that it does not necessarily work all the time. However, that doesn't mean you need to give up and then just go with the flow. You need to still find out which option fits you the best. Like what adults is undergoing right now. Is it 5% off for the rest of the year, or do you work like 4 days out of week, something like that? That's a reality. And whether you like it or not, you need to choose those. You need to find out what fits you the best. So that's why this chapter 1.7, in my personal opinion, it is one of the most significant lesson in entire Math 10-3. You need to work with accountants in future, those kind of things too. But anyway, the talk has been a bit longer than I thought. Let's go with example on page 24. Paul earns $9.40 per hour. Yvonne earns $8.10 per every hour. And however, Yvonne gets time and a half for hours worked over 40 hours per week. Compare their income for working 50 hours 1 week. So, when it comes to Paul, this is everything we have. However, when it comes to Yvonne, that's our generic hours, but that's for 40 hours. When it comes to anything over 40 hours, you are getting half. Time and a half. Which is fancy way of saying it's a 1.5 amount of your salary. Let's do easy case first. Paul's case, I'm going to call number 1. Ivan's case, I'm going to put number 2. So if I look at my first case situation, this is easiest. $9.40 per 1 hour. We need to understand that the whole week, Paul worked 50 hours. So it's a simple unit conversion. 9.40 times by 50 give me $470. And that's how much Paul earns as a gross income. Gross income for Paul. Now number 2, Ivan. Ivan's situation is a little tricky. I need to do 2 calculations. Easy one first. $8.10 per 1 hour times by 40 hours give me 8.10 times 40, $324. And when it comes to my rest of an hour, which is 10 hours, because remember, the amount for Yvonne, 40 hours is the only time that she will get $8.10. She get 1.5 of that amount. So let's find out the new amount first. 8.10 times by 1.5 give me $12.15 per $10. And that provides you 121.50. So you can add these two. So let's do this. 324 plus 121.50 give me $445.50, and that's my gross, well, not mine per se, gross income for Yvonne. So let's say, imagine you have two of an employer who try to reach you. Like in this situation, restaurant seems like a good example for this. Paul works in restaurant A, Yvonne works in restaurant B, something like that. Now, which one earns more? In this case, we know that Paul earns more. $9.40. It is consistent. Even though you don't have a time and a half for 50 hours, something over than 40 hours, it can be like 60 hours, then who knows? Yvonne may earn more. But realistically speaking, 50 hour, you may know if you're working in part-time job, it's not as easy as you request. Sometimes you need to wait for employer to get like, oh, this week you're going to work 40 hours or something like that, or this month even. So consistency versus extra money depends on the busy time. It is your choice. But long story short, for 50-hour situation, Paul earns more. That is what I want to point it out. Let's do more. This is second example on the same page, page 24. Oh boy, this time we have a table it seems. Sanjay is a waiter and John sells magazine subscription. Who has a higher gross annual income if they both work? You know, I'm gonna put time first. The total time was 50 weeks. So now we're rather comparing long-term goal. If you think about a year, there are 12 months and 4 weeks for everything. So 50 weeks is slightly over than one whole year. So we are comparing that situation. Now, Sanjay versus John's work. Sanjay is a waiter, John is magazine seller. So the system will be entirely different. Sanjay have salary salary of $8 per 1 hour. When it comes to John, John does have a salary too. Thought it was a piecework entirely. That's $280 per, actually I'm gonna make 1 week like that. Now when it comes to John, he has positive 4% as a commission. And when it comes to John, sale rate was he sell 3,300 every week. That was a sale rate. On the other hand, Sanjay's situation, he work 40 hour per every week. That's one of the condition. And other condition is, he gets tip, additional fees basically. That is 300 for every week. And that's tips. So we have these two systems going on. Don't try to compare each row by row because it's really tough to do. I'm gonna do Sanjay first and John as a second. Let's look at Sanjay part first. Number 1. Now Sanjay has, we need to find out how much he earned per week first of all. You know that this is salary, $8 per hour. I want you to multiply 40 hour per 1 week amount because hour will be gone and we can get how much per 1 week. So $8 times by 40, that basically give you $320 per week. Now, the thing is, if I look at just this basic salary, you need to also understand that it's independent to the tip. And we are talking about 50 weeks time. So 320 times by 50 weeks is equivalent of $16,000. That's my total, Sanjay's total amount when you just look at basic salary. Now, we are not done. We have to think about tip. Which is basic multiplication. And that, is 15,000. 0, 5 times that is that. And as you may know, we can now add these two up. So 16,000 plus 15,000 gives you $31,000. That's what we have for Sanjay's gross income. Now, when it comes to second, which is John's sales situation. Let's talk about his basic salary first. We have $280 per every week, but we are talking about 50 weeks. Week and week will cancel. It's basically 280 times by 50, and that provides you $14,000. And that's my number 2. Now it's not done. We need to think about commission. Now, when it comes to commission part, we have 33,300 per every week times by 50 weeks gives me 3300 times by 50 gives you 165,000. And now commission is 4% of it, which is multiplied by 0.04. That provides me 6,600. And now we're adding these two's amount, and that will give you $20,600. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is John's gross income. So if you think about Sanjay's and John's amount, we know that Sanjay gets paid quite a lot. In fact, 31,000 versus 20,600, it is more than $10,000 differences. So as you may notice, and this is quite obvious too, you will know that Sanjay's work then is more, how can I say, beneficial if you just look at the amount only. Now, one last one. I'm gonna use this blank paper for that one. If we talk about example number 2 on page, I believe it's 25 now, page 25, the whole pictures come out a little easier too. It's different type of work. Jody installs and repairs telephone. She earns $21.20 per every hour plus time and a half for any hour she work overtime. And that overtime is over 40 hours a week. Last week, she worked 49 hours. These information is for her total time was 49 hours. This is Jody's situation. Now we also had Aiden's situation. Aiden earns annual salary of $43,000 per year as a director of sales at a computer company. Who had a higher gross income in last week? 1 week is what we're talking about. So we're now basically comparing yearly salary for 1 week situation and the other one too. Let's figure this out. Before we getting into entire week situation, let's figure out actual full week in a year. Weeks in a year. We have about 52 weeks in a year. Oops, that means I screw it up when I was writing this. 50 weeks is bigger than 1 year. No, it's slightly less than 1 year. Let's put that in there. Let's do Aiden first and Jody as a second, because Aiden is easy. Aiden situation. I'm gonna use ratio. So if it's 43,000 per 1 year, which is 52 weeks, then how much amount of money we will get for 1 week? And we can just multiply those two. 52x, that is equal to 43,000. And x is equal to division of it. 43,000 divided by 52 gives you 826.92 if I round it up. So have that in your mind. That is Aiden's money, gross income. Now, second situation. Jody's situation is a little tricky. First thing first, she have 49 hours. Now, the regular pay hour is 40 hours per week. And anything that go over, in this case 9 hours, this is my overtime payment, which is multiplied by 1.5, a time and a half, if I recall, is what it said. And when it comes to it says a plus time and a half. And when it comes to 40 hour, this is regular salary. So we need to do this two calculation. First thing first, 40 hours. So the payment was 21.20 per hour times by 40 hours. Hour cancel each other. So 21.20 times by 40 gives me $848. On the other hand, when it comes to my overtime, understand that I need to find out 21.20 multiplied by 1.5 provides you 31.80, and that is for 9 hours. Hour and hour cancel out. So 31.8 times by 9 is equivalent to 286.20. And if I add those two up, you will know that it is $1,134.2 for Jody. So when you compare, of course, 826 versus 1,134, you may know that Jody's amount is way more. But know the fact that, like I said, does that mean Jody is gonna have better income every single time? Well, that one is quite debatable, right? You need to understand that. But to be fair, yes, her installing telephone and so on, it seems like it has pretty good regular pay amount per hour. However, as you may notice, what if she doesn't have a lot of installing or repairing work and it become less than 40 hours? Maybe this week she was lucky. Maybe next week she may get like 30 hours. Then of course it's not consistent. On the other hand, Aiden's part is consistent. In my opinion, when it comes to my job, teachers generally have a stable income with the good enough a benefit. So that's why when it comes to my type of work, it's more close to like Aiden's situation. I earn way more than this amount to be fair, but and I'm not try to like brag or something. However, one thing that I like about my job is I get my paycheck every month, and that is quite stable. And when I have my family and so on, I value stable perspective. That's why I choose this job too. Of course, I like teaching, but you got the idea. If you look at, however, money's perspective more, this kind of service-related job will be better because you may get way more than what I earn when you look at a case-by-case situation. And this type of situation can work for contract workers too, right? Even though contract workers, you may do a lot of government and tax season, you need to pay a little bit more. But you got the idea. Use your logic. Talk with your family. Talk with your spouses in future. Be smart. That is today's lesson.